Reflections on the Good News of Jesus Christ for the 18th Sunday of Ordinary Time from the Gospel according to Luke. Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." He replied to him, "Friend, who appointed me as your judge and arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Take care to guard against all greed. For though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." He then told them a parable. There was a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. He asked himself, "What shall I do? For I do not have space to store my harvest." And he said, "This is what I shall do. I shall tear down my barns and build larger ones. There I shall store all my grain and other goods, and I shall say to myself, 'Now as for you, you have so many good things stored up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong?' Thus will it be for all who store up treasure for themselves, but are not rich in what matters to God." The Gospel of the Lord. To listen to some preachers, there are a handful of so-called hot-button issues to which Jesus devotes most of his time and attention. You know what they are. Except that, other than a few words, Jesus says almost nothing about those issues. Instead, he is far more concerned about what we do with our pride, what we do with our power, and what we do with our possessions, all of which can easily take such a prominent place in our lives that we are more likely to worship them and violate the second commandment than we are to violate the sixth commandment. Today's gospel is one of those passages, and a story gives us further insight into what Jesus is telling us. Two families asked their village's rabbi to settle a dispute about the boundaries of their land. The rabbi listened to the members of one family recount how they had inherited the land from their ancestors and how it had been in their family for many generations. They produced documents and maps to prove their claim. Then the rabbi listened to the other family describe how they had lived on the land for many years, working it and harvesting it. They claimed that they knew the land intimately. They had no paper to prove their claim, only their calloused hands and sore backs, and the harvest they reaped from the land. After presenting their cases, the families said, "Decide, Rabbi, who owns the land?" The rabbi said nothing. He knelt down on the land and put his ear to the ground. He listened for some time. He then stood up and said to the two families, "I have listened to both of you, but I had to listen to the land, the center of the dispute, and the land has spoken. It has told me this: neither of you owns the land you stand on. It is the land that owns you." In gospel times, rabbis were often asked to arbitrate conflicts within families and communities. But in today's gospel, the Rabbi Jesus refuses to be cast in that role. Instead, he addresses the greed that has nearly brought both sides to blows. He tells the parable of the rich man who has lost his sense of what is truly important. He sadly discovers that wealth in the reign of God has nothing to do with stock portfolios, bank accounts, or the social register. We can become as short-sighted as the rich farmer. We can become owned by the things we think we own, obsessed with obtaining the most elegant home, the newest car, the most stylish clothes, the latest technological gadgets, so much so that our possessions own us, confiscating our time and energy to buy and maintain them. For an example of the values Jesus was encouraging us to live, listen to this story that appeared recently in the New York Times. Beth Solomon writes about the time she tried to break up with her boyfriend Danny, and he refused. A year and a half into their relationship, Beth discovered a lump on her breast. Danny drove her to the breast biopsy appointment and waited patiently in the lobby while she met with her physician. The surgeon advised her, "I am afraid this is probably cancer. I don't want you to worry because it is an early stage. We will treat it aggressively, and you have nothing to worry about." Beth immediately thought of Danny in the lobby. "His wife died of cancer," she said to the doctor. "She was just over 40, and they had 2 young children. He had to watch her get steadily more sick and then pass away. He can't go through this again. He doesn't deserve that." "Oh my God," the surgeon said. "I just told you that you have cancer, and you're worried about him?" On the way home, Beth said to Danny, "We need to break up. There is no way anyone should suffer that cancer caregiver role twice in one lifetime. I love you, but this is over. You need to leave me." "I'm not leaving," Danny said. "We definitely need to break up," Beth insisted. "This is over," she said again, "and you should leave." "I'm not leaving," Danny said again. As they pulled into Beth's driveway and sat in the car outside her house, Beth said again, "This is the last time you'll see me. I can't ask this of you. I love you and will miss you, but this is for the best. I'm setting you free." "We're not breaking up," Danny said. "I love you. We'll get through this." And then he looked at Beth and said, "I'm hungry, and the only thing that's going to happen right now is that I'm going to go inside and make us sandwiches." And that's what he did. The biopsy proved negative. Love and care endure. Danny understood that the real treasure of life is the selfless and affirming love that is of God, love that creates and embraces, love that affirms and consoles, love that enriches and lifts up. In serving as caregiver to his late wife, he came to appreciate that the fullness of life is experienced in loving and being loved completely and unconditionally. In the precious time we have, may we discover the lasting things of God in our care for one another and in allowing ourselves to be cared for with the compassion and peace of love's author. And just to make sure we got the message, one more story. Many parents keep baby books, journals that record all of a child's first things: first tooth, first word, first step, first day of school, first communion. They are all memories to treasure. But there is another collection of memories that are just as precious. Call it your child's book of lasts. The last time you push your child on a swing. The last time the two of you play catch. The last time you rock your child to sleep. The last time you take your child fishing. Most of the time, you're unaware that this will be the last time until you realize one day that you aren't doing those things anymore. When you weren't looking, your child outgrew them. You realize that somewhere back there was the very last time. Had you known, you would have savored every one of those moments. You would have lingered a little longer at the swing. You would have thrown that ball back and forth until your arm was about to fall off. You would have held your child forever. We tend to live our lives as if there will always be time later to do the things our demanding schedules force us to put off. We believe we can always make it up to our loved ones tomorrow, or this weekend, or during vacation. As soon as this project is done, we think we will be able to relax. But then another project immediately begins. But as today's gospel makes clear, our days are numbered. Our time is limited. Like the rich farmer, we can be so self-centered and so self-sufficient that we shut ourselves off from life's most enriching and important moments. Faith includes the constant awareness that life is a journey of discovery of the holy in our midst as we make our way to God's dwelling place. The most devastating poverty is the emptiness of a life filled with things, but possessing nothing of God nor the things of God: love, forgiveness, compassion, gratitude. Our lives are not about amassing fortunes or achieving great celebrity. Our lives are about finding and embracing selfless and affirming love, about discovering how to love one another as God loves us, totally and completely, without condition or limit. Thanks very much for listening. Feel free to share this with anyone else that you might like to. And remember that you are always welcome to subscribe to this weekly reflection. You can do that by going to our website at www.justanother.disciple.com. Once again, www.justanother.disciple.com. Thanks again.